Isaac Asimov, the famous science fiction author, a few years ago, 1988, he said that the saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. I think he would say today, even sadder is the fact that our technology is learning from us. And that's the problem that I think we have. The singularity, when computers get their own consciousness and get to think and make their own decisions, if it ever happens, is still a few decades away. This is not the promise of the 2020s. And here's our problem. So now let me make this relevant and less philosophical. We are not actually good in our corporate environments, in the companies that you are in. You are actually not very good at being curious. As a human individual, you're quite good. Well, at least until the age of 7, and then your parents slap those questions out of you, or at least school does. But as a company, you don't reward curiosity. You don't reward experimentation. In fact, most of your companies actively push it aside. I don't mean business projects. I mean actual experiments. So when Amazon Go was launched, this is the shopping where there are no people in the shops. I listened to an interview with Jeff Bezos. He was fantastic. He said Amazon Go was based on 1,962 individual experiments. But here's the key. The first 600 of those experiments had nothing to do with Amazon Go. Most of your companies are happy to experiment when you've already decided what the outcome is. We want to have a shop with no people in it. Experiment for me, please go. Whereas Amazon are prepared to say, just experiment. Take the cashiers out of the canteen at head office. Why? I don't know. I want to see what happens. When they did that, by the way, they took cashiers out of Amazon's headquarters. Jeff Bezos said, quite a lot of people forgot to pay. He didn't use the word stealing, but I think that's what he meant. And so they had to fix that in the system. So here's what I think is going to happen in the 2020s. We are going to realize that we need the computers to work more closely with us, but we need to be better examples for them. That the next step in AI, developing the promise that the previous speaker from Google was telling us about all the things that AI can do. Every single one of his examples required a human to say, that would be a good thing to do. Every single one of them required the human to determine what success would look like. We have to recognize, in the midst of all this conversation about AI, and a look forward at the next decade and all the promise of the computers, it's actually the 8 things that computers can't do, at least can't do yet, that we have to focus our attention on. This is our contribution to AI. AI is learning from us, and we need to learn this stuff. We need to learn how to think about the future and imagine what could be. Computers will just do what they know. We need to know computers can do complicated things, but not complex things that involve human intelligence, that involve human emotion, that involve the understanding that different people are different, and we don't all fit into one box. We need the ability to be curious and tell stories about what we learn. We need initiative and entrepreneurship, and finally, the ability to decide what is true and false, not based on democracy and who speaks the loudest, but based on something that's really difficult to define. What is truth? Let me finish with just this little story. We know that the medical field is probably ripe for AI, that this is where AI is going to work hardest. But we still need human beings in the system. You know why? When IBM's Watson or Google's DeepMind tells you that you've got an incurable disease, you don't want this to happen, right? We need a human touch, a bedside manner. We need machines and humans to work together. This is our goal in the 2020s, not to compete with the machines, but to be more human. Our best contribution in a world of AI is to be more human. 2020s are nearly upon us. Be more human.